welcome to Salford Now News at 5 o'clock. I'm Jennifer Morby.
And I'm Josh Warren. Coming up on the programme.
Police, open the door! Who else is in here?
Greater Manchester Police raided homes in Salford this morning as part of Operation Avro.
The autumn national budget for 2021 will be announced in Parliament tomorrow.
And the River Irwell battles sewage overflow as rainfall increases.
Salford properties were raided by Greater Manchester Police this morning as part of their new Operation Avro. This aims to clean up crime on the streets of Salford. Our reporter Matt Cunningham spoke to the Chief Constable outside the Lowry to find out more.
Police, open the door!
There was a rude awakening for the criminal element of Salford this morning as Greater Manchester Police began to execute Operation Avro. 11 arrests were made starting as early as 4 o'clock this morning.
So Operation Avro it's a new initiative. It is part of a rolling programme. One of the things that we're really keen to do in GNP is to make sure that we up the visibility of what our people are doing. It is not, of course, a secret that GNP has had its difficulties. We have a good plan to deal with those difficulties. But amongst the things that we're really committed to doing is making sure that we investigate all crime, that we arrest more people, and that we are seen to be making a difference to people's lives.
It also gives the public an opportunity to meet with the community police force in an informal setting such as this at the Lowry Theatre.
And if we've got people who are preying on our communities, people who are selling drugs into our communities, people who would do harm to others, we sort them out because that's our job. And so it's all part and parcel of being seen to be on the side of good people. And, you know, we recognise absolutely that for the most part, people just want to live their lives without being put upon by others who do them harm. And that's what this is all about.
In a wide-ranging operation, officers have been targeting everything from drugs and weapons to the illegal trade in birds, and the Chief Constable hopes this will be a regular warning to criminals in our city. Matt Cunningham, Salford Now.
With the Chancellors Budget coming up tomorrow, we can expect to hear Rishi Sunak announce a number of economic changes that will affect the people of Salford in the coming year.
We're joined by our political correspondent Archie Richards to find out a bit more about what this might include. So Archie, what do we already know about the budget?
So the biggest thing that's come out of the announcement for the budget on Monday and what we will be expecting to hear tomorrow is that the national living wage will be increasing to £9.50 from £8.91, which is an increase of about 6.6%. We also know that the transport links for Greater Manchester will be developed in the coming months and weeks as well, as a £1.7 billion investment is being invested into inner city transport links that we've seen coming into place already with the B network and stuff like that. Okay,
so how will these changes impact the people of Salford?
So the NHS is getting a £5.9 billion boost as well to tackle growing lists and backlogs due to the pandemic coming into place and people losing appointments in this, that and the other. So residents in Salford should expect their hospital appointments to be coming back into place relatively soon.
That's great news. And are there any aspects of this new budget that might upset a few Salfordians?
Yes, well, there is bad news for those who like a drink or a pint, specifically, with the beer tax going up by 30%. That's due to because the pints will now be going up upwards of £6, so obviously.
Well, that's not great news, is it, really? But, you know, but, well, I think I'll still take a visit to the pub. I don't know about you, Joshua.
Oh, definitely. But on another topic, one woman took a trip through history after discovering her mother's old diaries from World War II. She has since been inspired to write a book from the mementos, which express her mother's memories of growing up as a teenager in Salford during the war. Harriet Haywood reports.
History thrives all around us, in books, on our streets, in photos and, in Fiona's case, in 5 well-kept diaries tucked away in her loft.
I kind of inherited them, if you like, and I decided to do something with them because they were just sat in my loft for 15 years. So I got them down and looked at them and I was like, wow, there's a whole history here. You know, the whole history of living through the war as a teenage girl in Salford.
These are Eileens Diaries.
put together into a book by her daughter Fiona.
In my mind, everyone was sat with, black eyebrows and sat waiting for Churchill to talk, and they didn't. They got on with it.
Her get-on-with-it attitude is summarised by "Today be merry, for tomorrow we die." She shows us a side of the war that we don't often see. As a teenage Eileen juggles work, night classes, church, rationing, and finding the time to go to the pictures to see the likes of...
Maybe all the songs I'll ever write.
With a new pronunciation. Well, just imagine instead of saying, like, "Siss him," the new version is "We kiss him."
Her perception of living couldn't be clearer. Make the most of life whilst you can. And as war crept up from London to the north, it's understandable why.
A storm of bombs wreaked havoc in this proud city, but they leave it.
But Eileen survived, met Les, and wedding bells and 9 children soon followed.
Walking up the aisle, she was amazed because there was soldiers and sailors there, because obviously it was a holy day of obligation. So any that were in the port of Manchester that day wanted to get mass in before they were shipped out. And she, it kind of made her a bit sad that, probably, the last wedding or the last happy thing they saw in their home country was my mum and dad getting married. And a lot of them wouldn't have come back, no two ways about it.
Behind me is Salford Cathedral, where a 21-year-old Eileen went in 1942 and came out a married woman. And now this is where her diary entries finish, ending on the happiest year of her life. Fiona's findings have been reported, published, and even being used at Oxford University to show the government the impact of research. And although Eileen passed away in 2000 at age 79, her memory lives on as a part of Salford's history. Harriet Hayward, Salford Now.
Britain's sewers are struggling to cope as a result of heavy rainfall, which has led to rivers being overwhelmed with waste. We join reporter Jake Penkethman at Salford River now. Hi Jake, so what's the situation?
A fine map has revealed the grim extent as to the sewage levels affecting Britain's rivers right here, including here in Salford, and this is just the latest development in the ongoing debate about waste in the UK. Now, the Rivers Trust has published a brand new interactive map which showcases all of the rivers and streams across England and Wales and highlights areas where sewage waste is at its highest. It uses sort of brown markers to point this out, and there are a lot of them here in Salford, including here by the River Irwell, and parts of the Manchester Ship Canal. So this is showing high levels of sewage waste across all of these rivers, and obviously this has caused concern because these waters are used for many activities, including that of open water swimming. Now, MPs have just voted against a proposal which would have placed a ban on water companies dumping their sewage out here into the water, which obviously is doing no good for the environment. However, Rebecca Long-Bailey, the Labour MP for Salford and Eccles, did actually vote for this bill, showing that she's thrown all of her support in helping to try and limit the sewage levels across all of Salford's rivers. And so it looks like Salford's rivers won't be getting any cleaner anytime soon.
Well, thank you for that, Jake. Now, as Black History Month comes to an end, our reporter Aaron Benzo investigated the significance of the period on Salford.
Oh, it's an important time of the month, mate, you know what I mean? I don't know much about it.
I never got to learn about anybody influential who was black, and I should have, because that's like
like a period.
Celebrate all the achievements of black people, that's it.
It's in the 70s and 80s, and that's the education I was given.
In America, bro, you know what I'm saying, we got Martin Luther King Day, we got a couple of days off of school and holidays and stuff like that. It's pretty much similar, just different times of the year. You know?
It was part of our syllabus, but we didn't actually do a lot about Black History Month in general. That's the one thing we didn't really know that too much about.
Black History Month, what is it about and how did it come to the UK? Let's start from the beginning. Before it came to be a month, it used to be Negro History Week in the 19th century. The founder, Carter G. Woodson, believed the week would be enough to educate African Americans of their identity. In the US, it is celebrated in the month of February as it coincides with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. In the UK, it was organised by Ghanaian analyst Akiabo Ade-Sebu. He wanted black people to reconnect with their African roots. It was first celebrated in London 1987, where it landed in the month of October. as part of the anniversaries of the Organisation of African Unity and of Caribbean Emancipation. But do all black people connect with this month? The Nigerian Independence Day also falls in the month of October. Even though they bear a similar past during colonialism, many don't feel connected to Black History Month at all. Is Black History Month popular in the Nigerian community?
No, you know, because of we don't have, in Nigeria we're not colonized, we're not put under slavery, to be put that way.
I know about the Black History Month, but I don't really follow it. I think I don't identify myself with color. So I don't care about, not like I don't care about black, but I really don't pay attention to my color. I just pay attention to opportunities that come to me as a human being.
History is all around us, but how is Black history connected to the North? This is a Friends Meeting House, a lecture destination for James Watkins, an ex-slave, who lectured about his experiences of slavery. He used his platform to encourage Northerners to fight against slavery. Are Black people in those stories that you learn and you're teaching in uni?
I try to bring Black people in when I teach history. Unfortunately, I don't think I do enough. I think I need to do
Some
more.
of the lecturers at the University of Salford want to diversify the curriculum. This would mean that they would have to do independent learning on the different histories in order to teach it. The difficulty with this is finding the time, as many are faced with a heavy workload.
Since coming back from lockdown, appreciating the outdoors has helped improve our mental health and the environment.
The reintroduction of green spaces in Salford has seen some of these issues tackled, and Cleveley Community Forest Garden is one of them. Tom Parker reports.
Physical and mental well-being, as well as the environment, have been hot topics since coming out of lockdown, and green spaces are one of the ways in which they can be tackled. Cleveley Community Forest Garden is one of the places hoping to make a difference.
Well, our focus is around sort of health and well-being, and that's anything from young children to older generations. So being outdoors is great. You know, we've just gone through a pandemic and everybody knows the benefits of being outdoors. So we have young children who come here and use the forest garden for their forest school activities. And then we have groups who come in and help us to maintain the garden that we see behind us. So it's great benefits to people, learning skills, being part of a community. And what we always wanted to achieve by opening up this site was that it became a community asset. Although we manage it, it belongs to the local community.
The site's forest school garden offers a wide range of horticultural lessons for children, helping to teach sustainable growing to the next generation. The garden also provides the chance to grow and sell plants alongside fresh fruit and vegetables.
We have a regular group who come and meet on a Thursday who are learning skills off each other, being able to grow our food, know where it comes from, understanding what you can grow in different aspects. So we have raised beds, we grow in old potato sacks, we grow in the polytunnels so we can change the length of the season that we can grow food. This garden will never ever provide enough food to feed even the nearest street to here. It's a way that people can come and have a look at what we grow and maybe how can they grow and come and ask questions.
Now, with COP26 being held in the UK this year, it's now more important than ever to have discussions about the way we transport food. Now, an article by BBC Good Food has suggested that flying typically creates 10 times more emissions than road transport and 50 times more than shipping. Now, statistics by DEFRA estimate that 25% of miles covered in the UK comes due to heavy goods delivery, and that equates to about 19 million tonnes of CO2 being produced every year.
Because I've not worked for 6 years, it gives me a focus on something, and yes, it's physical, so it keeps myself fit, and it's enjoyable.
Well, my favourite thing is planting.
Oh right, yeah.
Like them over there.
The plants back here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got khaki, all that thing. like all the pagan leaf.
Whilst there's plenty to be done to help the environment and ourselves, forest gardens like these can help in taking small steps for a better future. But for now, I'm going to tuck into a nice organic hot chocolate. Tom Parker, Salford Now.
So, Joshua, do you enjoy taking a walk through your local park?
Yeah, I love it. Don't live too far from Bill Hill Park, and it's nice to have a little green space in a part of Salford that is a bit of a concrete jungle. So to be able to just walk around and let your mind go away for a bit and appreciate nature, I find really beneficial for me.
Yeah, I definitely think it's good for your mental health. I know if I'm having a rough day, struggling with concentration, I'll just have a walk, see all the dogs walking by in the park and get some fresh air, and it really makes me feel better and my concentration's better.
Of course. So on the same topic of nature, Jennifer, have you ever been stargazing?
Well, Joshua, not really. I can't say I'm that much into astrology, but I do often wonder just how big our universe is.
Well, I can tell you that the Astronomical Society knows all about that. Our reporter, Courtney Davis, went to visit the society in what marks their 50th anniversary.
For 50 years, the Salford Astronomical Society have been captivated by the city's night sky. This weekend they came together to celebrate a double anniversary.
So today is the 100th birthday of the telescope, which is the 18-inch telescope, which is actually in the main observatory, and it's also the 50th anniversary of the Society.
To celebrate this anniversary, the Society has upgraded its 18-inch telescope.
The telescope as it was a good telescope, but it was dated, it was old technology, right? Where now they're trying to bring it into the 21st century by making what you call a go-to telescope, which means a computer can run the telescope and you can tell it to go to an object in the sky and it finds it. Where back in the day I used to be laying my back underneath the telescope, pointing it at things and all the rest of it.
From book sales to face paints to food stalls, the night was jam-packed with exciting activities, and after 5 decades the observatory is still attracting new stargazers.
I've lived in Salford most of my life. I didn't know there was an observatory here, so it's something I've always been interested in. I just never had time to pursue it. I've seen Jupiter up close, I've seen Saturn up close, and it just really makes you feel, you know, what an enormous universe we are in, and it's so much to discover out there.
Although the celebrations are happening here tonight, the history behind the Society began many years ago. The Society started in the 1960s by locals who had the same interest. Dodgerell Bank then donated them this telescope after Manchester University had nowhere to house it.
They basically put in for a grant from the Education Authority, local education authority, and were awarded £10,000 to build the observatory as it is today. And then the scope, the fork and the dome that we're under were all transported from Dodgerell Bank in 1971.
With the telescope in good hands, they'll be looking at the night sky for another 50 years. Courtney Davis, Salford Now.
Well, after seeing all that, I'll definitely be looking out for the stars tonight in Salford. But unfortunately, that's all we have time for today in the show. So make sure to follow at Salford Now on all your social media platforms. And that is goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me. Thank you.
See you soon.